same dialogue. He had to find her, he had to bring him home. What? In the dim light of the setting sun, he made out the silhouette of a little girl sitting with her head bowed, tears rolling down her cheeks. Afraid of startling her, he approached slowly and took a closer look. He was indeed standing in front of his wife, Amber Mallory, who used to be so charming. She was still pretty, but she seemed to age prematurely. White locks here and there brightened up her long hair to the point where you couldn't tell her age anymore. With that appearance, she could have been an old lady, yet she was barely in her 30s like Tristan, who didn't appear any younger. Back hunched, looking haggard, eyes more lifeless than ever, she was crying. She was his wife. He loved her. He had to take care of her, no matter what. But even so, sometimes he almost wished she would get lost for good, that she'd disappear, so he wouldn't have to live through this endless circle again. Something wrong? Why are you crying? What happened? The woman he loved was there, just in front of him, and he couldn't do so much as touch her. He tried to not lose face, to look reassuring, yet in front of this sad little girl, he didn't feel confident at all. Amber seemed worried. Oh my god, what the hell is happening? The young girl's steps were wobbly and weak. She had probably not eaten all day long. Is Tristan a vampire? Or does he not age? What is happening in this game? God, what have I done to deserve this? When is she going to come back? When is she going to wake up? Will my tears reach you one day? I just realized what's happening here. Tristan Mallory could have been an ordinary man with an ordinary life if his daily life hadn't changed dramatically a few years ago due to a dire event. Since that day, he was a victim of an infernal cycle, an ordeal that seemed never-ending. He had been so happy, so fulfilled with the woman he loved, the woman he had married. Amber, so charming, who he had sworn his life to. Amber had gone mad. He had never realized how obsessed she was about having children until the doctor announced to them that she was sterile. The declaration that seemed overcomable to him, but to her it was as if she had been dealt the death penalty. They could have put themselves in the hands of science or just given up on the project altogether to make a new one, could have been satisfied with their everyday life, but not for her. Amber wasn't willing to let go of her little girl's dream to change a coma of the idyllic fairy tale she was promised. There was a need; it had to go that way, and that was the only way. Then the pressure she put herself had the upper hand. She shouldn't be perfect. She shouldn't conform herself with exactitude to all those absurd norms imposed to her. Something in her head, like a fragile thread, broke. She had an emotional breakdown, right in front of her husband's. Tristan's bewildered eyes. She dived in one go in a kind of insanity, as sudden as it was violent, from which she didn't want to return. Refusing to face reality, she escaped in a long dream, a long nightmare where she became untouchable. Ambre reverted to childhood, where everything was easier, where everything was still possible. She didn't recognize her husband anymore, or didn't want to recognize him. So she had to pretend not to know her each time, tame her each time, until she would have a new breakdown and everything would reset again. He had to try to make her happy and help her get better each time, even if it meant bending to her every will, even if it meant living in a world of pretend, even if it meant unrequited love on his part. During this cycle, once more intrigued, Amber took advantage of this absence to open a drawer she had never touched before. She had found a key in her guardian's room. Inside was a big leather notebook. Convinced she had found the treasure, she grabbed it and opened it. It was a photo album. Spread on the pages were bright smiles and tender gestures. All the more so as the bride looked exactly like her. And the reason why I can't tell her is because she'll just remember everything back of being sterile, and then she'll revert back. Oh man. So this is what she really looks like. And that childish depiction of her was what she mentally looked like. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. To a faraway place where I can't reach her anymore. Every day I pray that she'll somehow hear me, that she'll wake up, and that she'll remember me. Could anyone imagine the suffering? Could anyone imagine what it felt like to be in the shoes? To see that your loved one can't even recognize you anymore, that she had forgotten everything about you, about your relationship. When Amber, the little girl stuck in the woman's body, asked him why he was crying, he wanted to scream. Because I love you, because we were so happy together, because I can't live without you. Because I need your presence, your affection, because I'm all alone, because you're my wife, the woman I love. I beg you, come back to me, get a hold of yourself, and snap out of it. But it's useless. He had already tried to shake her, to talk to her like she was his wife. But if he did, she would remain terrified. She would only move away from him. She would cry, telling him he shouldn't hurt her. So he gave up. Right. He stopped trying to get his role back. He kept pretending, and his suffering got worse day after day, like a sly disease trying to consume him further. Fake a smile, forget about yourself, don't think about anything other than reassuring her. How could she go on like this without being worn out? Tristan was no Superman. He was often on the verge of losing it. He despaired to see no progress, even no hope for healing. Would Amber ever return to normal? He didn't believe it anymore because of the disillusions. One evening, when he was feeling exceptionally worked up, he dared to yell at the young lady who was doing her best to please him. He immediately regretted it, but the deed was done. Why do you only look through me? Why is he surprised every time, though? Amber, locked up in her little girl's dream, was becoming jealous of herself, and she was trying to suppress her happy alter ego of the past. She was trying to destroy herself from her husband's memories as if to rewrite the past, like some kind of unconscious suicide. He had to wake her up. He had to make her realize. He had to think of a way to tell her. Did she recognize him just a little? Was that a sign from her subconscious that she finally got her grip on herself? This is like we're stuck in limbo here. He mimicked a fake wedding ceremony, a fake joy to please her. Never regained the fresh and innocent face of the picture's return. The masquerade grew out until Amber started to ask to have children again and discover the truth one way or another, which would invariably make her plunge into madness, as her obsession was too strong. To counter these numerous relapses, the 30-year-old man often went to the hospital with his wife to discuss this with the psychiatrist in charge of her and to review possible changes. So, Tristan, how's Amber lately? Has her condition improved a little? Not yet. The doctor frowned in a compassionate look. He was in charge of the Mallory case for some time now, and he felt particularly powerless in front of the avoidance on the part of the young lady. He tried it all, without success. Never know. Is that why you've called me, Doctor? He grabbed the pen and played with it nervously while staring at Tristan. No, to be honest, I knew Amber would relapse again. One of my colleagues went to talk to me the other day. Apparently your wife stopped by the hospital to do the usual drama queen. She ran into an intern that didn't really know how to deal with the situation. I regularly explain her case to the newbies, but between theory and practice, you know. The poor boy meant well. He told her the truth while trying to sugarcoat it to make her reflect on it. She had another anxiety attack, obviously. By the time she had told her to sit down to call for me, she was already gone. If it had been me, I would have tried to buy you some time. Anyway, what's done is done. There's no need to apologize, Doctor. It's not your fault. You know as well as I do, she regularly loses it, and lying to her about it doesn't do any good. The fact remains that I booked today's appointment so that I could check up on how you're faring and how she's been doing in that unfortunate incident with my colleague. Nothing's changed. The doctor sighed. He stuffed the pen in his coat pocket and stopped working. While nervously scratching his beard, he mumbled in an understanding tone. Frankly, I'm surprised. I'm impressed. I really don't know how you can keep going like this, Tristan. In your place, I wouldn't be able to. But I still have to make you see a doctor, too. We never know. You're not safe from having a breakdown just like her. I totally understand, Doc. You know, every cycle I try to do things a bit differently, but in the end, I'm tired, worn out, lost all hope. So all I can do for her is to make her happy as possible during the golden time, where she's living a perfect childhood. All that's left of a woman I love is a shadow, so I hope she'll eventually find rest. The two men gazed at Amber, who was at the hospital's hallways in the distance playing like a little girl. Suddenly Tristan broke the silence, his voice trembling. Sometimes I wonder, is she ever going to get out of that prison she built around herself to avoid suffering? Is she ever going to accept the fate and face the outside world? Or is she going to keep living in the eternal golden dream where everything's perfect? I wish I could promise you that she'll wake up from that long nightmare, but something inside me thinks she'll never call her obsessions into question. Which is an immense waste. Because of that, she's forsaken herself from a life that could have been wonderful. Meanwhile, Amber was cheerfully having a chat to what she thought to be another little girl of her age. In reality, the young woman was babbling deliriously with dead eyes to her own reflection in the mirror, while stuck in that never-ending dream of free of hardship. We'll be happy until the end of time, have lots of kids just like the fairy tales. How could it be otherwise? You're right, every day could be a celebration. If only I didn't have that strange feeling. I think I've lost something important, really, really important. But I can't remember what it was. The end! Oh man, alright, that was not what I was expecting. But I did piece it together. Once that depiction came on. Whew. Good old Rempy. Alright, that was Amber. Oh, alright, I'm gonna cut this a little shorter than usual. Not because it's finished, but also because I am just tired emotionally. Emotionally drained, I think it's called. Also, it didn't have a happy ending at all. It's a very, very, very sad ending, which is very relatable to a lot of people nowadays, with people with dementia and stuff like that. It's tough to, I guess, not really realize, but I guess comprehend how tough a situation like that is. Alright. Hope everything goes well for you. I know we're ending on a very, very sour note, but like I usually try ending with all my videos on a positive note. I hope you have a good one, and I hope it goes well. If it doesn't go well, yeah. Bye.